Saddam speaks. He says he's got nothing to hide. Outrage after Michael Jackson admits sleeping with children.
He makes Howard Hughes look sane.
Mr. Bush leads the tributes to the tragic space heroes. And how Kylie Minogue's looking after the bottom line.
The ITV News at 10 with Trevor McDonald.
Good evening. The night before America tries to convince the world that it's time to wage war against Iraq, President Saddam Hussein has categorically denied the main American accusations against him. He said Iraq is not hiding weapons of mass destruction, nor does it have any links with Al-Qaeda. The Iraqi president was speaking in an interview, the first since the present crisis began, conducted by former Labour MP Tony Benn during a recent visit to Baghdad. Here's Kevin Dunn.
Tony Benn is a committed opponent of war with Iraq, and he offered Saddam Hussein a platform to seek a peaceful outcome to the current crisis. Mr. Benn first asked Saddam if Iraq possesses weapons of mass destruction.
Iraq has no weapons of mass destruction whatsoever. We challenge anyone who claims that we have to bring forward any evidence and present it to public opinion.
Saddam was then asked if he had links with Al-Qaeda.
I would like to tell you directly, and also through you to anyone who is interested to know, that we have no relationship with Al-Qaeda.
Next, Saddam was asked, does he believe that oil may be a motivating factor for war?
The destruction of Iraq is a prerequisite to controlling oil. That means the destruction of the Iraqi national identity.
Finally, Saddam Hussein was offered the opportunity to send a message to Britain.
Tell the British people, if the Iraqis are subjected to aggression or humiliation, they would fight bravely. The Iraqis don't wish war, but if war is imposed upon them, if they are attacked and insulted, they will defend themselves.
Tony Benn says he is not a judge of whether Saddam Hussein is telling the truth, but he hopes the public will mobilize against military action. Kevin Dunn, ITV News.
Tonight's interview was the first time the Iraqi president has spoken to the West since I interviewed him in 1990. So how credible is what he said tonight? Three experts have given us their verdicts.
This man talks brazen-facedly about peace, and he shows what kind of animal he is really. He's killed since the age of 17. He does not feel good if he's not engaged in conflict, and yet he looks at us in the face and he says Iraq needs peace.
I think Saddam will think that this is a great propaganda coup for Iraq. He's managed to get across his point of view that this confrontation is about who controls the oil, and not about his weapons of mass destruction, and not about his links with Al-Qaeda.
I think when you look at the interview, if you agree with the need for a war in Iraq, you look at a man who's lying, who's covering his tracks. If you're one of the people who is questioning the justification for a war, you will say, here is a man saying, I have no weapons of mass destruction, I have no links with Al-Qaeda, the very tenets on which any war with Iraq are going to be built. So it's going to be ammunition for the people who are for a war, and it's going to be ammunition for people who are against a war with Iraq.
Verdicts here on the Iraqi president's interview. But what are the Americans making of it all? Let's go now to our international editor in Washington, Bill Neely. Bill?
Well, in a typically blunt statement, the U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld said simply, Saddam is a liar. And the White House says, we simply don't believe anything he says. We watch what he does. And tomorrow, the United States has a chance to prove that Saddam is lying when Colin Powell goes to the United Nations Security Council and tries to persuade them that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, that it has links with Al-Qaeda. We're told it'll be a 90-minute, punchy, military-style briefing, trying to persuade the waverers like France and Russia. The United States knows it hasn't really made its case. This is its chance to do so.
Bill, what's the word on the street about how convincing Colin Powell will be?
Well, Colin Powell is saying he has no smoking gun. The United States is saying, look, it's not like a court of law where you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Iraq is lying. But Colin Powell wants to make his best case. He's apparently been going through satellite photos and intercepts, choosing the best bits. In the end, though, it will be a political decision whether France and Russia supports a war. It won't be a legal one. Tomorrow, though, is diplomatic high noon.
Bill Neely, thank you. The Prime Minister went to France today to try to persuade President Chirac to line up with the Americans and back military actions against Iraq. But Mr. Blair encountered the same French resistance. Mr. Chirac wants the inspectors to be given more time.
Firstly, I feel that war is always the worst possible solution. I would add that in that region, above all others, we don't need any more wars. Having said that, I repeat, I feel that we need to wait.
Children's charities have rounded on Michael Jackson today for admitting in last night's ITV1 documentary that he sleeps with children in his room. They say if that happened here, the social services would be called in. In the United States, the authorities there say they'll be investigating, as Colin Baker reports.
It doesn't matter how rich or how adored or how famous, even an icon has to toe the line. The view of most child welfare experts this evening, who were especially concerned by Michael Jackson's revealing view of his complex relationship with children.
Thinking about adopting 2 kids from each continent around the world.
I would like to live forever.
God knows in my heart how much I adore children. No, I am Peter Pan.
It's not just the presence of children on Jackson's Californian estate which provokes concern, but the fact that many children sleep over in his bedroom, with Jackson also there. While it's accepted that Jackson was deprived of a normal childhood by touring and recording, his closeness to minors has left him vulnerable. His own judgment on these relationships is highly questionable.
Whenever kids come here, they always want to stay with me. They never want to stand together. And I have never invited them in my room. They always just want to stay. They say, can I stay with you tonight? I go, if it's okay with your parents, yes you can.
The sorts of things that Jackson says are rather like the defences that are used by paedophile men. In particular, the one that it is the children who seduce me, I don't seduce them. Now, it's not to say that Jackson is a child molester, but it's a little disconcerting how reminiscent that phrase is.
Wow. Jackson seemed preoccupied with masks. His children never leave home without them.
Those little faces behind those masks, with those eyes looking out, you just thought, what is going on in their heads? How are they going to grow up? He makes Howard Hughes look sane.
Blanket, 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 I love you, blanket.
His treatment of the baby's son he called Blanket horrified some. The constant shaking of the child while trying to feed it, the infant's obvious discomfort with his face covered for whatever reason.
What it appears is that he's actually abusing his own children by using them as just objects. And that's sad, and I'm sure, you know, if he would hate to think that he was doing that, but in effect that is what he's doing.
Jackson's adoring fans see no wrong in their hero, but it's the police and child welfare authorities he may one day have to convince. Colin Baker, ITV News.
Living with Michael Jackson will be shown in America on Thursday, but the fallout from the program has already begun there. Our correspondent Romilly Weeks is in Los Angeles tonight. Romilly, are the American authorities saying anything at all about those revelations in the program?
Well, the district attorney's office, which investigated Michael Jackson 10 years ago over allegations of sexual abuse with a boy called Jordan Chandler, have said that they will be watching this documentary very closely. I've also spoken to one of the lawyers who actually represented Jordan Chandler, and she said that she's so disturbed by what Jackson has said that she's writing to the Child Protection Services, including a transcript of the documentary, and asking them to investigate.
Is there any sort of general feeling that he may have landed himself in deep trouble here or not?
Well, absolutely. The documentary hasn't even aired here yet, and already it's creating disastrous headlines for Jackson. One showbiz reporter that I spoke to said that it's hard to believe that he's managed to further tarnish his image.
Well, Michael Jackson, career-wise and personally and professionally, has really become the punchline of a lot of jokes here. So in that regard, this isn't really particularly shocking to American audiences. It's always been the joke, and ever since the allegations happened years ago and his career started going downward, that he just isn't what he used to be anymore, and he's a little bit of a freak.
Do we know, Romilly, finally, where he is tonight?
Well, it's thought that he's still at his Neverland ranch in California. He's made no further comment, which, considering the seriousness of the situation, is probably his best course of action at this moment.
Romilly Weeks, thank you. Still to come on News at 10 tonight, America remembers the victims of the Space Shuttle Columbia. Plus disaster as fire strikes Brighton's other pier tonight. And Kylie uncovered how she'll make a fortune on the high street. We'll find out after the break.
Say hello to free minutes to call any network anytime. Ideas for better business. T-Mobile.
This advert could save your life. A properly fitted windscreen accounts for up to 30% of your car's structural strength. At Autoglass, we replace your windscreen knowing it could save your life if your car rolls. Autoglass, we fit safety as standard.
You hear that? That's the sound of second place. The sports drink. It's not a three-piece suit. Push it! Push it! Push it! Push it! It's proven to help top athletes go 33% longer. Fight! Like me in goals.
It's McAlowen! Oh, what a finish! The striker supreme!
This is Michael. Today he's going to hit his girlfriend so hard she ends up with permanent brain damage.
3 dead in this vehicle. They say the guy without the seatbelt did the damage.
No seatbelt, no excuse. From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance.
Suzuki Grand Vitara, 13995.
Make your plan. Get out alive.
Jamison and cranberry. How do you like to mix? Now we've got your attention. We hope you remember a properly replaced windscreen could save your life. Autoglass, we fit safety as standard.
Say hello to free trials of our latest services. Ideas for better business. T-Mobile.
Welcome back. There were tears in the Texas sunshine today as the families of the 7 shuttle astronauts remembered their lives and their tragic deaths. They were joined for memorial service by thousands of NASA colleagues, fellow astronauts, friends, and by President Bush. From the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Robert Moore reports.
This nation's mourning was led yet again by the President. Americans everywhere remembered 7 astronauts who died 16 days into their mission and who were just 16 minutes from touchdown. Under the brightest of Texan skies, the grieving families gathered with NASA's employees. The engineers were here, and so too the scientists and the entire corps of astronauts. The President told Americans the future of manned space travel would not end with the loss of Columbia.
This cause of exploration and discovery is not an option we choose. It is a desire written in the human heart. We find the best among us, send them forth into unmapped darkness, and pray they will return. And to the children who miss your mom or dad so much today, you need to know they love you, they were proud of you. And you can be proud of them for the rest of your life.
America is not only remembering the 7 lost astronauts, they are rallying behind a beleaguered NASA. And the space agency is vowing to learn the lessons of Columbia and to sustain their vision of a manned space program. A ship's bell was rung 7 times for the 5 men and 2 women who died in a spacecraft disintegrating 200,000 feet above mission control. There is a powerful sense here that those who died did so fulfilling their lifelong dreams of space travel and in pursuit of science and discovery. Robert Moore, ITV News, in Houston.
2 murder inquiries are underway tonight. Detectives in North Wales are hunting the killer of a postman beaten to death this morning on his round in the town of Mole. 30-year-old Paul Savage was found unconscious next to his bicycle. He'd been in the job only for a few months. Police want to trace 2 young men wearing hooded tops who were spotted close to the scene. And police in East London are warning women to take extreme care after an American art student was stabbed while she was out jogging. 27-year-old Margaret Muller was killed in a busy park in broad daylight. They're linking the murder to another attack in a nearby park last week. There was a big fire tonight on one of Brighton's historic piers. It began in the Fun Fair on the Palace Pier. It took 7 engines from across Sussex to bring it under control. Lifeboats were also scrambled. It's not the one that fell into the sea at the end of December. That was the West Pier. The Palace Pier is said to be one of the finest ever built. Harry Smith has our report.
The fire broke out at the seaward end of the pier and quickly spread across the timber structure. Witnesses said they could see burning deck planks falling into the water. By the time firefighters arrived, the pier had already been evacuated. For more than an hour, the blaze raged through the pier's Fun Fair, destroying some of the rides before the flames were brought under control. Because of the difficulty in getting access from the land, lifeboats along the coast were put on standby but were not called out. It's only a few weeks since Brighton's other famous landmark, the West Pier, was severely damaged in a storm. The town is now waiting to see just how much damage the fire has done to one of its most popular tourist attractions. Harry Smith, ITV News.
Coming up in a few moments. Watch out, Marks and Spencer. Kylie Minogue wants to grab a share of the lingerie market with her own designer label.
How much did you put into these knickers?
We'll have all that after news from your part of the country.
Good evening, and we start with some news just in. A 31-year-old man's due to appear in court, charged with 2 counts of indecent assault on a young person. He'll appear at Newry Magistrates Court tomorrow morning. The American Special Envoy to Northern Ireland, Richard Haas, has said that if no acts of completion take place now, then there's no formula for restoring the political institutions in the province. Mr Haas was speaking following a meeting with the Taoiseach in Dublin tonight, before leaving for Belfast for a meeting with the SDLP tomorrow.
It seems to me that if we can't have these major acts of completion, then you don't have a formula for the restoration of devolved or local political institutions. That isn't good for people. There's always the danger that in the absence of political progress, you could see increased violence. That obviously isn't good. In the absence of political progress, it's hard to see how the investment that we want to see come in will come in. And that would obviously be bad for jobs and standards of living. So I can't see anything positive that would result from a failure to make significant progress at this point.
The Met Office has warned drivers to take care on the roads because of the onset of a hard frost. Although the snow showers will become lighter, widespread black ice will make driving conditions very difficult. Jane Lockery reports.
Dungannon this morning, and conditions are extremely hazardous. Drivers in Oman and Enniskillen were also urged to take care, as some roads were very icy. There were heavy snowfalls in the northwest. The Glenchain Pass is open, but motorists are being warned to be cautious.
This is the equipment the Met Office uses here at Aldergrove Airport to monitor the weather. Last night, around 6 inches of snow fell in mid-Ulster, which was the worst affected area in Northern Ireland. The good news is the snow showers are set to die out, but they'll be replaced by heavy rain towards the weekend.
The showers will gradually die out during today, and tonight we expect very few showers, but it will be followed by quite a hard frost everywhere across Northern Ireland. During tomorrow, then, milder weather is trying to get in later tomorrow, but it will probably take until the early hours of Thursday morning. Then there's the problem with the transition from the very cold weather to the very mild weather. The snow on the ground will probably in a good many areas be slow to clear. With the mild air trying to get in to replace the colder air, it's quite likely we'll see widespread fog and extensive low cloud. So even when the snow starts to clear, there will be the added problems of poor visibility for road users and the like.
Although the snow showers will become lighter this evening, widespread black ice across Northern Ireland will make driving conditions very difficult. Jane Lockery, UTV Live, Belfast.
Colleagues of Johnny Adair have been given 48 hours to quit his Lower Shankill Sea Company before rival leaders of the mainstream UDA launch revenge attacks in the wake of the weekend killing of John Gregg. Ivan Little reports.
The writing on the wall in Johnny Adair's Lower Shankill stronghold may be all about unity, but the reality is that the divisions between his sea company and the rest of the UDA are widening by the hour. The first in a series of statements came from the UDA's A and B companies in West Belfast. They said they no longer recognised the leadership of C Company. The LVF, with whom Adair had once been close, also distanced themselves from him, citing what they called the unnecessary deaths of loyalists, a reference to the weekend killings by C Company of the UDA's South East Antrim Brigadier John Gregg and another Rathcoole UDA man, Robert Carson, in an ambush in the centre of Belfast. This afternoon, the UDA's Inner Council met to discuss what to do next in the wake of the killings, though it's understood any revenge attacks have been deferred until after Gregg's funeral on Thursday. In a statement, the UDA welcomed the moves by the A and B companies in West Belfast to ostracise Adair's men. Sources close to the UDA said earlier today that a number of members of C Company had, in their words, jumped ship to the mainstream of the organisation since the weekend murders. But today's statement from the UDA ups the ante with a get out or else warning. It says that if Johnny Adair's men don't join A or B companies off the UDA in West Belfast by midnight on Thursday, they will be treated the same as what they call the enemies of Ulster. It's a warning which leaves little to the imagination, but it was quickly dismissed by John White, who was expelled from the UDA at the same time as his close friend Johnny Adair. White has been in hiding, but during a brief return to his home near Carrickfergus today, he told the Press Association he wasn't frightened of the UDA leadership and wouldn't be deterred from what he was doing. Ivan Little, UTV Live.
Meanwhile, a one-time ally of Johnny Adair, now said to be aligned to the mainstream UDA, has had his bail conditions changed for his own safety. A judge lifted the nighttime curfew on Andrei Shukri and removed a condition that he could only travel on public transport. Shukri, who is accused of having a pistol and ammunition, has been freed on bail since mid-January. A handgun and a quantity of ammunition has been found in a house in South Belfast. The find was made at Pandora Street. And finally, the election for the moderator of the Presbyterian Church has resulted in a tied vote for the first time in 10 years. Reverend Ken Newell and Reverend Ian McKay, who both have congregations in Belfast, each received 7 nominations from the 21 presbyteries across Ireland, who met tonight to elect a successor to Dr. Russell Burney. They will decide between the two at another meeting on the 4th of March. That's all from this evening for us tonight. For now, I'll hand you back to Trevor in London. Goodbye.
Hello again. In a moment, Kylie Uncovered. But first, tonight's headlines. President Saddam Hussein has categorically denied that Iraq is hiding weapons of mass destruction and insisted it had no links with Al-Qaeda. At a summit in France today, Tony Blair tried to convince the French President Jacques Chirac to back military action against Iraq. And children's charities have rounded on Michael Jackson for admitting in last night's ITV1 documentary that he sleeps with children in his room. And finally, Kylie Minogue seemed comparatively overdressed today at the launch of a new line in lingerie. She left it to a group of models to show off the new range. Miss Minogue is not the first celebrity and will almost certainly not be the last to give her name to designer underwear, as Chris Choi explains.
She's sick of wearing other people's knickers, so Kylie's launched her own brand. But Kylie, how much did you put into these knickers? That sounds wrong, actually. How big a hand did you have in?
And I just kind of collect influences and inspiration from around the place and see if they can turn it into a pair of knickers.
So the pop princess from Down Under now has her own Down Unders, and our celebrity washing line shows she's joining quite a crowd. Sadie Frost already has a range, so does Elle Macpherson and Caprice. In fact, this sector of the market is so vibrant, the government has figures on the subject showing that UK women now spend £2.8 billion a year on lingerie. If you remove the labels, can people really spot a difference from brand leader Marks & Spencer?
I'd have said probably these ones.
You like those the best? Those are the M&S. You have chosen Kylie Minogue's knickers. Where's she? But there's much competition before the star famous for songs is as famous for thongs. Chris Choi, ITV News.
And that has to be tonight. More news throughout the evening on the ITV News channel. But from all of us here on the News at 10 team, good night.
ITV National Weather, sponsored by PowerGen. PowerGen, power in good hands.
Hello again. So another weather warning for tonight, more in the way of snow showers and icy on the road, so do take care if you are out and about. Now we're going to see those wintry showers mainly in the north tonight, but also likely to affect those more exposed coastal areas. Very chilly tonight. Temperatures down to around -3 and frosty. So as you can imagine, a very chilly start tomorrow morning, but with that bright. Still got those wintry showers in the north and a few scattered here and there. Through the day they're going to gradually start edging away, so fine and bright to end the day, but cloudy, wet weather in the southwest, and that's really just a taste of what's to come. Temperatures still on the chilly side, but with those winds easing back, it won't feel as cold as today.
PowerGen, power in good hands.
They've got all the right answers.
Why do you sit with your hands in between your legs like that?
Well, I can't reach yours.
The Deal and Skinner, Wednesday at 10:30 on UTV. If you don't talk to your child about solvent abuse, someone else will. Phone 0800 7766 00 for a parent's guide.
Salma, how do you get that breath of fresh air for your hair?
My new shampoo, that's Head and Shoulders.
I see it's new Citrus Fresh with the essence of lemongrass, grapefruit and green tea.
And there's never a thought about dandruff.
For hair that's fresher, lighter, more natural looking, go to headandshoulders.co.uk for your free travel size bottle.
Get beautiful hair.
Ready!
Start their day with a healthy, nutritious breakfast.
Come on!
Let them glow with Ready Break.
This is Michael. Today he's going to hit his girlfriend so hard she ends up with permanent brain damage.
3 dead in this vehicle. They say the guy without the seatbelt did the damage.
No seatbelt, no excuse. From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance.
Make incredible savings with our unique offer of free fuel until 2004 when you buy an MG or Rover.
Excuse me, sir. Is that your seat?
No, I got an economy ticket. But I thought I'd see if I could get away with sitting here.
Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. I do apologize.
It's okay. New Smirnoff Black Ice, a sharper bite.
For First Street car insurance.
It's got to be FRD.
Call 08457 828 828.
And now the UTV weather, sponsored by Progressive, your homegrown building society.
Soon we'll be floating on the crest of a wave, goodbye to all your troubles, like a brand new start.
Well, just to start with a warning, today's snow showers have left behind a legacy of icy conditions, so do take care if you're out driving tonight. So tonight, a few more snow showers, mainly across the north and east. Clear spells in many places will lead to icy conditions as temperatures fall to low of around -5 Celsius. Well, tomorrow morning it will be a frosty start with some hazy sunshine and a risk of a wintry shower in the east at first. Tomorrow afternoon, skies will gradually cloud over, but it should stay dry. The highs will only be around 4 Celsius, that's 39 Fahrenheit, and tomorrow afternoon there will be lighter winds than yesterday. Here's a summary.
The UTV weather is sponsored by Progressive, your homegrown building society.
If you would like more information about the weather for today and the week ahead, you can call us on 09001 50 55 50.
Now we continue with our movie Pretty Woman.
Hello, Moto.
I'm gonna play someday. I'm gonna play someday. Play. I'm gonna play someday.
Many central parts of Europe are cold and unsettled with some heavy mountain snowfall. This unsettled weather will move away eastwards over the next few days as drier weather pushes in from the west. Wednesday's chart shows low pressure over Central and Eastern Europe with a cold northerly flow on its western flank. The Azores High is extending its influence across Western Europe. On Thursday, the areas of low pressure will move eastwards into Russia and the Balkans, allowing pressure to build from the west elsewhere, bringing cold but unsettled conditions. And those cold northerly winds will be bringing further snowfalls to the Italian Alps tomorrow, before it starts to turn drier and brighter from Thursday. The Italian pistes are generally in a good or excellent state for skiing, with the best conditions on the upper slopes. There'll also be some snowfall for Austria tomorrow on top of those pistes, before things begin to turn more settled from Thursday. And skiing conditions are excellent here too, with plenty of fresh snow and more to come over the next day or so. Wherever you're going, have a great time.
For fun and friendly chat, call 1570 500 200. That's 1570 500 200.
Somehow, they always get dirty. Dermatologically tested Ariel Non-Bio tackles the A to Z of your stains, however they get there. Ariel, that's another load off your mind.
I got a letter from Mavis here. She said she was having some trouble with her pet angelfish, Stephen. He's definitely a little under the weather, so let's see what the problem is. The natural habitat of the angelfish is warm tropical water, but this appears to be cool, refreshing Sprite. So, if we're going to look after these little fellas, don't use Sprite in the fish tank, because all Sprite does is quench your thirst. Here, puss, puss.
8,795.
Is that the right?
Car's just out there on the forecourt. I'll come out with you and...
That's fine. We've seen it. We're very happy. Really happy with that.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye now.
Move. Keep walking, just keep walking.
Constipation. Sometimes I want a predictable solution, so I take Senecot for gentle relief when I wake.
Senecot, natural relief for a brighter tomorrow.
I'm facing 30. I want perfect skin.
Visible Results SPF 15 from L'Oreal. The first skin-perfecting moisturizer with Activacell, designed to activate the natural repair of the skin.
Visible results? I've never seen such results. Day 1. My skin is incredibly smooth. Day 5. Pores start to refine. Day 8. My first wrinkles appear smoothed away. In just 8 days, my skin looks perfect, like new.
Visible Results from L'Oreal Paris.
Because you're worth it.
Kids don't care that nutritious whole grain shreddies help keep hunger locked up till lunch. They just love the delicious taste. Even big kids. Shreddies, kid tested, mum approved. We love to chat, so call us now on 1570 500 600. That's 1570 500 600.
Relax. No other non-bio powder is tougher on stains and gentler on sensitive skin. Ariel, that's another load off your mind.
Ready?
The ultimate night for music.
The Brits.
Coming soon to UTV.
Last week was Frank's birthday.
Bought me a puppy.
Frank was celebrating.
Oh, it's so lovely.
Is that the first dog you've taken home on your birthday?
Well, we'll see how it goes, madam.
He's older, just not wiser.
Oh, dear.
New Badil and Skinner Unplanned, Wednesday 10:30 UTV.
Hello, Moto.